Good morning. Welcome to the morning chat with me, Akara. As I drive into work, I talk to y'all, tell y'all what's on my mind this morning, what in my time with the Lord this morning, what has been on my mind all night long, So, let's get into it. So, not last night, but the night before last, my new neighbor that moved in below me, knocked on my door very lightly. And just to say that I was nice enough to answer the door, half naked, because I knew he was a man. I feel not bad at all. That's just me. Love me or leave me alone. But at any rate, so he comes up and knocks on the door. Young man, he asks me about roaches. Is it common in our apartments? And I'm like, no. I said, I might seen one here or there. I've been here since 2020. Here or there, I see roaches, maybe some funny bugs, because this is Atlanta, and we're very green, okay? Especially in the summertime, the spring and summertime, when it's warmer outside. Ooh, that biker scared the bejesus out of me. Because we don't have bike lanes here in Kirkwood. Okay, well, at least not on this street. Yeah, maybe on Hosea Williams, a certain portion of Hosea Williams, but not this one. Okay, but at any rate, so I foresee that there's going to be more bike riders. Shoot, with these prices going up every day, I'm thinking of investing in a bike myself. I can lose the weight. I can use the weight lost, and I'm only 6 miles, so I think on a bike from home to my job, I could ride a bike. It's either that or I need to invest in an electric car. Which, no joke. Do not play with me. Don't let me pay this car off. The next vehicle will be an electric car. I mean, conspiracy theorists don't like it, whatever. Going back to the Roach conversation. We'll talk about electric cars later. I told him that I rarely saw them because Georgia is very green. We're going to have insects. No matter how clean you are, there is going to be some type of bug or something in your home that makes its way into your home. But do we have a roach problem? No. Okay, I seen it here and there, and honestly, I didn't see them prior to, water bugs, yes, like it's rainy today. It's a rainy day today. So, if it was like rainy, I would say maybe 2-3 days back to back, I would see a water bug here and there. You know what I'm saying? Those are the big cousins of roaches. If anything, they're the big cousins, not the little. He's like, no, I don't have a problem with water bugs. I have a problem with roaches. I've seen a few since I moved in. And I was like, ooh. Now, I haven't seen roaches. Nigga, you better be on your game if you're going to squeeze in here between me and this other car. Because he sure did squeeze. And you better not be trying to turn left. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This guy. Okay, so he better be on his game, Mr. Lexus. But at any rate, and I told him that I haven't even seen them. I've been at the apartment since 2020. And like, again, maybe some funny bugs, funny looking bugs that were not roach connected. Because we're a green city. Very green city. So, yes. Bugs. I'm going to have like these little red and black bugs. Probably come from the trees that's behind my apartment building. You know what I'm saying? Or, I don't know. I've had one, really, it looked like a cicada that was in my house. Just dropped down from the ceiling. Hit me in the forehead. What the hell? But it wasn't a roach. Not them little tiny roaches that be getting in your food and in your cabinet. So I've seen a couple since the previous neighbor moved out, but I haven't seen a lot of them. You know, again, I've seen probably 5 in the last month. And sure enough, after talking to him, that after he went out, I said, well, he called for them. I said, I need to call the office. He's going to get sprayed in his in his apartment. Then I need to be sprayed. Because I don't want them leaving his apartment and coming upstairs to mine. I forgot to do it because when I'm at work, I'm at work. Okay? I mean, real talk, when I'm at work, I'm at work. And if the only time I'm not at work when I'm at work is if I'm bored, if I don't have nothing to do, or there's stuff that every now and again, I can't say, but most of the time, if I'm busy and I have a lot to do, I'm at work. I don't got time to be answering the phone, whatever. I'm there. I'm trying to get stuff done. Okay. And I have been incredibly busy. So, I am I don't know, I have a lot on my mind. So that's what I told him. And what was on my mind earlier this morning, and since yesterday when he came up and asked me about it, I was like, I've had my own condo and I've had an infestation of roaches. And I know, but I also come from the suburbs of Maryland, and when as a kid we had an infestation of ants. We never had roaches. We've always had ants. I mean, not always had ants, but we had an infestation of ants. And I was curious, well, how did it start? I was convinced one or two things happened. Either my son brought it from one of his friends' houses that had an infestation. 2, when they started working on the condo that was next to me, they disturbed a roach nest because they didn't start working on their house until like a couple of years after the person had moved out. So I don't know if they left food in their cabinets. I'm not sure if, anything could have happened. And, or they went in, once they went in there, they cleaned up, they saw roaches, they sprayed for it, and then they came over into my place. I'm thinking it's probably more so a roach or two then hitched a ride on my son's book bag from one of his nasty friends' house. You know what I'm saying? Or a little of both. And I was like, well, how does it start? I mean, because there's a difference between seeing one or two and having an infestation where you got to wrap all your food in containers if you're going to keep them in the cabinet. You know what I'm saying? You can't have cereal. You know what I'm saying? An open bag of cereal. You're going to have your cereal in a Ziploc bag. You know what I'm saying? To keep the roaches from ruining your food. You know, putting everything in your refrigerator. That's a little helpful. But until one time when I was in the condo that I shortly left after the roach infestation, I literally opened up my refrigerator and there was a roach frozen. Not still, that literally was like frozen in its spot in my refrigerator. And that's like, so refrigerator is not a safe place because they can get in there. I remember a friend of mine's a while back, you know, he noticed that, you know, he saw some roaches, and whatever moved him to pull like a portion of the refrigerator out, and there was roaches all in there. In the refrigerator that came with the apartment complex. Oh, talk about nasty. So, yeah. But what causes the infection of it is, you know, it could, first of all, a roach could have got in there. And once roaches multiply very quickly. So again, like you've heard, most people have heard, and if you're an adult, if you see one roach, you need to go ahead and spray because there's more roaches with that roach. The only thing when it comes to apartments is, say you spray for your house and it's fine, but if the person below you is nasty, they're going to come up from there. You know? So that's why the building should have some type of continual pesticide in their buildings. Mind you, I know I pay for pesticide, but I don't recall anyone leaving a note to say, hey, we're coming in to spray your apartment for bugs. Which, that's a good question. If I got some time, which I doubt, I might call up and talk to the leasing office and say, okay, I know I pay for pesticide every month, but I haven't gotten any notes to say, hey, we're coming in and we're spraying your apartment, or we're putting down, you know, because like back in the day, like when I had my first, well, no, not my first apartment, the first one I got on my own, like once a year, they will come in, they say, hey, we're going to be there to spray your apartment. Back in the day, back in the day, before me, I do know, like the old school, they will have you clean out your cabinets, cover them with plastic, cover your couches and stuff with plastic, cover your dishes, take them out of the cabinets, cover your dishes, with plastic, whatever. And they would go in and spray the cabinets, spray in the crevices of the kitchen and stuff like that. When I got my first apartment that I got by myself in Maryland, they didn't even need that. They just squirted some gel substance in the corners of the cabinet, and I saw no roaches. And this was in a HUD apartment complex. This is a hood apartment. It would be considered a hood apartment. Maybe not ghetto, but definitely hood. Okay? I ain't never seen not now roach or rodent in that apartment complex. As long as I was there for a good 2 years. Never saw roach. Not even when I moved. And when I stayed in DC, when I rented the townhouse for my parents, didn't see roaches then, nor rodent. But when I stayed in Southeast on 28th Place, there were some renovated apartments in the hood. There's not the when I stayed in the townhouse in Southeast in Fairfax Village, that was the nicer part of Southeast. Not all Southeast. Don't get it twisted. Okay? Sorry about that. Southeast gets a bad rap as being all bad. It's not all bad. Okay? So there were nicer areas in Southeast. Okay? And Fairfax Village is one of the nicer places. Okay? Then when I moved to 28th Place in Southeast, renovated apartment complex. It's probably old tenement, ghetto tenement. But they renovated it. I got a second chance. Stayed there for about 2 years. Did not see not near a roach, but I did get a rat. Not a rat, a mouse. It was a mouse. I had a mouse infestation, and it didn't happen until a neighbor on the bottom floor moved. And then all of a sudden I had mice. Okay. And they were, they sprayed for mice or whatever. They put down whatever, and I would find dead mice here and there. Okay, maybe once or twice. I don't like mice, but I'd rather have a mice, than a rat. Like I got from the apartment. When I moved here, I stayed with my father in Marietta. We did have, because it's a very green area, again, in Marietta, and we had a lot of trees around us, and we'd get these red and black looking bugs. They weren't ladybugs, but they were red and black looking bugs. That's the best I can call it. Okay, does this person even know where they're going? Why am I behind you? Then get in that lane. Yeah, he don't know where the hell he going. People, did I do the stare? I saw this guy on TikTok that said things that black people do when they drive. One of the things is stare at the person, like, what you doing? And I do that. He has never lied. That's one thing I do. It's like, don't think that I'm scared. And I do that just to be like, the fuck? But whatever. This guy didn't know where the hell he was going, clearly. And I missed the light because he didn't know where he was going. But there was no accident, so thank God for that. But anyway, moving on. When I moved here, and again, I stayed with my father, and we had a country mouse. He called it a field mouse that came in, and my dad put some type of poisonous whatever, and the mice came. It ate that poisonous poison, and then went in back into the walls and died. That house stank for months. Like, it's fine if they come out and die. You know, if you want something dead in the walls, let it be roaches. Let them eat some poison and go and take it back to the female that's producing all the eggs and kill them in the walls. But a mouse, you don't want any fleshy, no, you just don't want any, I would say mammal, but anything that has blood, red blood, or whatever in your walls, because it will stink when it dies. Okay? I just didn't think that was the best solution for that field mouse. You know what I'm saying? So, but we had that, and then I moved out from my father's to my own place in Sandy Springs, and that apartment was good until it wasn't. I didn't have any roaches or anything until like a year or so. I mean, not even a year, like months, a couple of months before I moved. And I started noticing droppings, okay, in my kitchen. What the hell is this? And so that means, okay, then there's got to be probably a mouse of some sort. And then I noticed something that they had painted over a roach. But I started seeing roaches here and there. And then I found in my TV stand that I had, roaches was all in this little cardboard box. There's a whole bunch of roaches all around that. I'm like, fuck, where did this come from? But prior to that, come to find out, I had a rat in my apartment. I told them about it. They did nothing. Okay. Then all of a sudden, we're coming in and we're going to be putting down some rat traps and so on and so forth, right? Well, the reason why all of a sudden I had the rat infection, that rat in my apartment, is because the building next to us had caught on fire. And so I guess whatever rats or whatever was in that building decided to make its way to our building. It was right next to ours. 1. 2, the reason why they all of a sudden started coming out with pesticides and stuff like that was because someone must have called the health inspector, and they was getting their apartments complex inspected. So now all of a sudden they wanted to do stuff to make it right. Needless to say, the rat was caught, and I moved out very quickly. It was God's plan. It wasn't mine. It was definitely God's plan. Well, I made it to my destination, and I probably ain't gonna follow up on this story because it's creepy and crawly and icky. Anyway, remember, love yourself, love your neighbors, and stay off the tape.